Greetings, my brothers and sisters. I go by the name of By P.P. I am a certified youth life coach for those who don't know me. So this afternoon, there's a topic that I would love us to talk about. So the topic is being all that you can be through mind work. So before I dwell much on this topic, I will first love to call the scripture at First Peter 1 verse 13, as it goes by. Therefore, with minds that are alert and fully sober, set your hopes on the grace to be brought to you when Jesus Christ is revealed at his coming. So after reading this scripture, I would love to encourage us to deal with adopting the right frame of mind. The fact is that you ought not to achieve much with a negative frame of mind, or with a negative mental attitude. So uh, I will love us like I will encourage us to therefore work on creating a positive mental attitude before we even attempt on achieving anything in life. To give you a practical example, there's a gentleman. This gentleman once approached me and said, "Brother, can you please help me?" So this gentleman was someone who was always complaining, constantly complaining. So this gentleman was complaining about not being able to succeed or achieve on everything that he seemed to start. So I sat down with this gentleman one day. So as we sat down together, we went round about on trying to solve the mystery on his constant failure, or his inability to not achieve his goals. So firstly, I said to the gentleman, "You know what? Come up with business ideas that seems to interest you." And the gentleman, at first, he couldn't even do this. He was so negative that when an idea popped up in his mind, he will he will dispel it seconds later, before even voicing it out. I could actually I could actually see him coming up with business ideas. His eyes were sparkling with interest for a second or two, and then later, before he could even mention it, the spark had gone. On his The spark had gone, because his negativity had already convinced him that it was impossible for him to achieve. So when he eventually came up with one or two business ideas, I was thrilled, thinking that we have reached a breakthrough. But when we started discussing these ideas, uh, it only reconfirmed what I had suspected all along, that he was failing because of his negativity. He was failing because of his negative mental frame, because of his negative frame of mind. So this gentleman, he ripped the ideas apart, making hundreds of excuses why he could not, his ideas, they could never work, and why he couldn't execute them. Not one positive thing came out of his mouth. He had literally convinced himself before he even began that it will fail. It will fail. Failure kept humming in his mind. Failure kept humming in his mind. There was almost no doubt. There was almost no doubt in his mind that every conceivable idea of his was impossible to achieve. Believe me when I say the gentleman's ideas were realistic and measurable. The gentleman's ideas were attainable, but then not with his frame of mind. not with his negativity, not with his attitude. Because the gentleman, he's a pessimist. This gentleman, in his this gentleman is his worst enemy. This gentleman is his worst enemy. He's negative about everything. He's negative about everything, and therefore attracts failure. When you are negative, when you constantly think about failure, then you do attract failure. No way that you can think positively and attract negativity. If you think positive, you attract positive. If you think success, you attract success. If you think failure, you attract failure. You know, this gentleman goes out of his way to find negative things. He will think and think only for him to find negativity in everything, and consequently, he finds them, or negativity finds him. You know, so to make things worse, someone with a negative frame of mind is usually also negative about themselves. They often lack self-confidence and belief in themselves. A person with negativity often lacks self-confidence, and they are also negative about themselves. That makes them their worst enemy. Not only does negativity affect their belief about their goals, but also their beliefs about themselves and their ability to achieve their goals. An important area to work on is getting a positive frame of mind. You know, if you believe in yourself, you will certainly achieve more. You will certainly achieve much. You know, we have to work on our beliefs. We have to work on our beliefs and everything that is surrounding us and everyone around us. A belief is a powerful thing. A belief is a powerful thing. It has the impact of breaking you or making you. You know, the fact is that if you believe you can't, you can't. But on the other hand, if you believe you can, you can. If you tell yourself that I can, you can. But if you say I can't, way before you even start, then you have already failed in whatever that you are trying to execute. You know, who achieved amazing things out there, which seemed impossible at first, but they certainly achieved those things because they have positioned their mind that they will and they can. If you tell yourself that I will and I can, then trust me, you ought to achieve each and everything that you desire. Now you see the importance of working on the mind work. Before you even attempt on achieving anything, before you even attempt on doing anything, before you even attempt on achieving your goals, before you even attempt on working on your goals, you must first fix your frame of mind. You are destined to fail. You are destined to fail before you even begin. If you are negative, you are destined to fail before you even begin. If you are negative, so before you try to achieve anything, fix your mind. Be positive. Let us stop complaining about successful people. Let us not stop complaining about successful people on the easy streets. You know, rather than complaining, and saying that it's luck? Why don't we utilize that time of us complaining, but let us utilize it to find how did they do it to get there? How did they do it? How did they attain a certain level in life? Rather than complaining, let's work on finding out how could they do it. Let's stop saying it's luck, because luck has absolutely nothing to do with success. But rather, those people on they have went on they have went out on their ways to find those opportunities. Those people, they worked for what they want. Those people encouraged themselves. Those people positioned their mindset that they will and they can. So, sacrificing a great amount of time and energy, really working on what they want. So that's what we can learn from them, rather than complaining and say it was luck. Now, instead of sitting back and mourning our fate, why don't we change? Why don't we change? Why don't we change our attitude? Why don't we change our mindset so that we can be like them, so that we can attain the same level that they have attained in life, so that we can reach our destiny, so that we can reach higher, so that we can fly, so that we can shine? But if you keep on complaining, you aren't going anywhere. But if you put in an effort, if you position your mindset that to be positive, trust me, you ought to achieve anything that you want. You will be who you want to be through the state of your mind. Today you are who you are because of the quality of your mindset. Today you are who you are because you once thought or you once dreamed at being at this certain stage. Today I am who I am because of the quality of my mindset. Today I am who I am because I wanted to be where I am today. Even though I couldn't reach all the things that my heart desired, but then certain things I've managed to reach. So, brothers and sisters, I will encourage you to practice on thinking positively, because the power of nature, the power of attraction. If you think negatively, you attract negativity. If you think positively, you attract positiveness. If you think positively, you attract positivity. So, brothers and sisters, uh, let's work on our mind, and let us be able to position our mindset to a point where we will never ever doubt ourselves, to the point where we will never doubt our abilities, our capabilities. I once doubted my capabilities of restoring hopes to the hopeless. I once doubted my capabilities of speaking wisdom to others. I once doubted my abilities to restore future to others. Doubted my I once doubted my capabilities of restoring hope to the hopeless, speaking wisdom and speaking success, prosperity to those who speak failure. But today, I ought to position my mind and said, I will complete this God given assignment. I will work and work. By working, I ought to achieve. And by thinking positively, I ought to achieve. So as I close, I will also like to close with the scripture in Joshua 1 verse 9, where it says, "Have I not commanded you? Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened and do not be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you are." So the Lord our God is with us forever we are. Wherever we are, He's forever with us. So let's change our mental attitude, and we ought to achieve greatly. Thank you.